Hello, welcome to you. I'd like to make a video for you which will guide you step by step in the sort of way that I use Reiki to manage stress and anxiety. And in my case, it's recurring PTSD. So small things can trigger a great emotional response. So you will have your own difficulties or experiences of how your mind functions, but for each and every one of us, this way, which I call a Reiki way, but it's come from being a Reiki master and teaching this personal way of using Reiki to turn the mind around from anxiety to peace. And from my experience and some of my dear friends, it really does work. So if you're ready and sitting or lying comfortably, maybe with your headphones or earphones, or just somewhere quiet, we shall begin. So, starting where you are right now, and looking at whatever your emotions or feelings, stress or anxiety is here. It may not be much, it may be small, or it may be huge. Either way, this video is going to guide just this one person's way of dealing with trauma. So, looking at your experience with courage, feel how it is for you. Feel how strong or not strong it is. Exactly how it is. Just feel. Just let tears, rage, any emotion at all, just be here and maybe give it a value. Is it total 10 out of 10 rating of distress? Or is it 0? You're feeling calm and contented. Just look for yourself and see where it's at for you. So just this looking. This is the first line of the Reiki Seiheki symbol, starting with Heiki, a line across, which we call darkness, meaning it's how we feel when we're totally caught up in our stress and anxiety, and we can't see anything beyond it. As though the light were blotted out by huge panic right in front of our vision. So there's nothing else to be seen. That panic. So just looking at your feelings and giving them a value of how strong they are. Is setting your stress and anxiety in a framework. And maybe a number has come to you. 10 out of 10, full on panic. Perhaps. And then looking at this number, whichever number it is, and maybe you could separate out how much of that trauma is caused by this event that has been going on just recently, and how much of that value do you reckon is caused by how you always feel, how you habitually feel when you feel attacked by life. So often it happens when you look. You see the event of the day, of the moment. It's not so bad. Can be sorted one way or another. But how you generally, how you habitually feel, how unsupported by life, by people, by yourself. This is the underlying cause of the bulk of your distress. Just this recognition dispels much darkness. And the next line of the Reiki symbol coming back from the first is desire, meaning we want things to be how we feel they should be, how they ought to be, we feel. And this prompts the question to ourselves: can we accept how things are? That life will carry on. Even if things aren't how we would wish them to be, can we accept that how things are is just that? It is always just that. Can we live with that without wanting things to be different? Because we either always want things to be different and we're never happy, or we can accept how things are and remain calm and content. So here we have an invitation to acceptance of how things are. And then the next line on Reiki is this sinking line down, which is called ignorance, meaning that as we journey through these Reiki lines of darkness and desire, and we see our distress clearly, and we acknowledge we could be prepared to accept things as they are, we start to see that distress was caused by misunderstanding life, by seeing life through our egoic identity, where everything needs to conform to our expectations. We see that was a sort of ignorance and unknowing of truth. And with this seeing, our being drops down into a level of awareness beyond egoic identity. This is beautiful. And with this, we see that underlying all our fear and distress is this one existential fear of death, which is the next line of the Reiki symbol. And we ask ourselves, can we see the huge picture that we are all this life force energy, which is what exists, which is everything as it is, the beautiful energy which makes the world and everything in it, which is what we are. Can we accept this? That when the body dies, we are this life force which has gone nowhere. And with this, fear of death is overcome. So we have darkness, desire, ignorance, fear, death. And next comes identifying with the body, thinking we are the body. Easier to see when fear of death is overcome. This body is our vehicle for experiencing life. It isn't what we are. You are still completely completely you, even should something happen to one of your limbs. So you are not the body. And the next line is, you are not the mind. Coming back again. Because the mind is an instrument for interpreting data and constructing a personal reality and personal identity. But in terms of the life force energy we are, this mind is not the truth of what we are. This needs to be experienced and cannot be learnt. And this is the value of the experience of no mind energy, which comes from this Reiki tool. Then the last line is this pooping out under, looking away, and this line is called, let it come, this line is called this line is called self-righteous pedantry, which merely means this voice that goes on in your head, which is always trying to justify the ego-centered point of view. And it is the hardest to identify and disregard. So there you have Reiki for my darling, and say Reiki, Seiki and Reiki, bringing this understanding, this seeing of your identity as Reiki, and the flow of peace and joy as Seiki, just a flow where thoughts are just small things compared with this flow of life force energy. And seeing both of these alternating in your life is the highest aspect of Seiki, and leaves your mind completely at stress and beyond. Thoughts coming and going, but no stress or burdens, no PTSD, all lost with the beautiful symbol expressing the truth of this. So I do hope, my dear friend, that you experience this transition. Reiki. Reiki to you, dear one. Goodbye.